My name is Freddy Gervasi, and I am the creator of Soul Expansion.
So where are you from, Freddy?
I'm from Toronto, Ontario.
And how long have you been doing Soul Expansion?
I've been doing Soul Expansion for going on 2 years now. Yeah, just over 2 years. So we started with my former partner and I, we started out of a yoga studio, just doing 20, 30 people. And we started with breathwork, meditation, sound healing, and then slowly implementing live music as it began to progress into what it is today, an 8-piece live band. So Soul Expansion is an interactive concert experience using the ancient healing modalities of breathwork, meditation, sound healing, all with traditional instruments, with guitars, sax, violin, keys, drum set, and we do it in an entertaining way so that people can heal through entertainment. That's the idea. How can we recreate the concert experience so that people can have a nourishing experience, something that's more of a filling of the cup as opposed to depletion, which traditional concerts, in my opinion, can leave you with. If you're, maybe drinking a little bit too much at the concert, you wake up the next day not feeling, your best self. But these style of concerts can help you create connection with each other, deeper connection with yourself, and ultimately create self-love. That's the whole idea: is love ourselves so much so that we can love the world around us that much more.
So you talk a lot about self-love. What has your journey with self-love been like for you?
Yeah, in my opinion, or at least in my experience, when people try to create a solution in the world, it's usually based on something that they're lacking, something that they are trying to fulfill within their own life. And I believe self-love has been something that maybe I've avoided for a long time, or didn't feel like I was worthy of, or didn't feel like, it was something that I would ever be able to achieve in certain ways. And I think when we're younger, we don't realize that self-love slowly starts to slip away just based on other people's perceptions of us, maybe based on actions that we're not necessarily proud of. And it just starts to slip away, like action by action, these little micro movements, micro, experiences. And then they, bleed into bigger experiences. Brick by brick, you start becoming something that you feel like you're not. And that belief can outweigh the level of self-love that we innately have. It's like deep within us that we are born to love ourselves in that way. And I think when it slips away, it's very hard for us to come back because, just based on life experiences and sometimes what other people are projecting onto us as well. So we take other people's life experiences, mesh that with our own, and then we create these belief systems based on feelings, like how we felt in that moment. How I felt when I met you is going to create a belief system about our relationship, and then ultimately create a belief system in what I believe about myself. So there could be these very powerful feelings that we felt in certain scenarios with our parents, with interactions with ourselves, interactions in relationships, that create these intense feelings like shame, guilt, fear, all of these things. And then we base a belief system on that. And my belief system was that I wasn't worthy of self-love. I didn't deserve it. And I felt as though I wanted to help, cure that even for myself through breath work and sound healing and meditation. Those were my tools at the time, because I had shifted from using other substances like drugs and alcohol, and then these became my new obsession and things that I replaced that with over time. And so it was like this idea of trying to correct that for myself and then share that with as many people as possible in the process.
So you were in the party scene a little bit. Have you always been into music? Can you talk to me a little bit about your evolution?
So basically, I grew up a hockey player. I played hockey my entire life. And as you get older in that community, in that culture, partying is a big piece of it. It's like a way to create camaraderie with your teammates. It's a way to show that you can hang. It's a way to, just bond in different ways. And it could definitely get out of hand. It could fall into these categories of maybe toxic masculinity. And I felt like I was there for a long time. And I didn't even realize that wasn't normal, until you break out of it. You start maybe hanging out with a different crowd, more positive role models that are like, hey, this is not it, this is not the way it is. And I met some amazing people in the hockey world and amazing friendships in that process. But there was something that wasn't 100% me in all of that. And I learned that later on. And when I was towards the tail end of my college hockey career, one of my best friends had just won the Stanley Cup with the Boston Bruins, and we were partying. We were celebrating his massive success, celebrating who he was in the city, and all of these things. And I had just learned the guitar at the time. And I decided to start playing at the after parties, and I knew like 4 chords, I knew like Johnny Cash and a couple Pearl Jam songs, and it wasn't very good, but I happened to be the only one playing the guitar at the time, so they let me continue. And one of our friends was this Boston-based rapper, and he said to me, "You're gonna play guitar on one of my songs, come to the studio." And I was looking at him like, I don't know the guitar. I don't know how I'm gonna do this, you know, like I don't think I'm gonna be able to pull this off. And my hockey player friend was like, a big fan of this guy. He's like, you gotta go. You gotta at least, like, we gotta go to the studio, see what's up. So we're like, okay, we go to the studio, we pull up in my friend's car. It's this beautiful car, and we're in this, you know, pretty dodgy neighborhood in like Reading, Mass. And we're like, okay, are we doing this right now? Like, what's happening? We're like, okay, let's do it. We go in, and you know, it's got a bunch of his friends there, and everybody's drinking and smoking, and it's like kind of like a party vibe, which I thought it was going to be just us, like trying to figure it out. So already I'm a little like, you know, a little nervous, don't know what's happening. So I sit on the couch, somebody's handing me a blunt. I had a couple drinks, you know, I'm starting to get a little foggy, but you know, just to ease into the frequency there. And all of a sudden the music stops, and he goes, "All right, Freddie, what do you got? Show us what you got." And my knee is going like this. I'm like, my guitar is like flying off the handle. And I'm like, okay. I start doing this thing, this 4 chord, the only 4 chords I knew, and I started doing this like picking thing that I had never done before. It was like da 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 da, and all of a sudden it goes completely quiet, and he's like, "Oh, track it right now." And I'm like, okay, I guess, thank God, because I got nothing else. Like, next song was like Folsom Prison Blues or fucking like Last Kiss, Pearl Jam. So thank God he liked that. So I ended up going into the recording booth with the producer, Louis Bell, an incredible man, and just he's doing some amazing things right now. And he was so patient with me. We spent the next like 30, 45 minutes trying to figure out what I had just done. I had no idea. So we started, you know, just slowly picking this thing together and finally get through it. And we had some great laughs. And he's just like, if you have any songs, like come by when I'm not working, you know, I'll give you a shout, and we'll make some music. It's like, okay, great, because I was making my own songs because I couldn't play anything else. I was just like, you know, so limited. I just picked up the guitar maybe like 4 months ago at this point, so it was like very, very fresh for me. But I was obsessed, and I had just started watching The Secret, so I'm like, I can do anything. This is it. You know, like, all right. And so fast forward maybe a couple weeks, a month, whatever it was, and the Boston Marathon happened, the Boston bombing happened, and it was really obviously intense experience being right down there. We were just off of Boylston when the second bomb went off, and you could feel it in the bar. The entire space was shaking, and people were screaming, and it was a very intense situation. So we ended up going back to our apartment. I was living with my buddy at the time, and he had his dog there. I was helping take care of the dog, and so all of our friends came back there and where we were at. And we ended up staying there for the next 3 days, just in lockdown, while these kids, which at the time we didn't know what was happening, but these kids were at large. And basically I sat in front of the TV for 3 days, just watching the news, like listening to what happened to these families and the kids that were affected. And so I just started playing this thing and started playing this song called Boston Strong. And I went to Lou and I said, hey, listen, I have a song here, like, would you mind, you know, recording it? And maybe we could put it up on iTunes, like $1 a song at the time. Maybe we can, you know, sell it and just give the money to the families that were affected. And he's like, yeah, great idea, let's do it. So we did it. My friend tweeted it out, like there was a bunch of, you know, people that picked it up, and we started like selling these songs, and went to Spalding Hospital where a bunch of the people were affected there, just started handing out these little checks. It wasn't anything crazy, but it was just enough to feel like I was like doing something. And realizing that music could do that, I was like, oh shit, okay, this is a little different than what I had thought music could be used for. So he's like, all right, Lou was like, if you have any other songs, like come back in, we'll keep going. And so I wrote another like 4 songs with him. One of the songs was called Summer Nights, and this is kind of like going into like my party era phase. And so my friend at the time who was playing on the Boston Bruins was getting a lot of slack for all of this partying that was happening, and we decided to like kind of get out of the city for a little while. It was 4th of July weekend, so we wanted to like be good and go up to Cape Cod and just like, okay, nobody's like whatever, you know, we had 15-20 of our friends there, we're gonna keep it wholesome. And within the hour of being up there, we can't find him. We're like, what the hell's going on? Comes back, sits us down in the kitchen. He's like, guys, I just got traded. I just want to let you know. So everybody's like kind of somber, and everybody, I loved Boston. I didn't want to leave. I didn't know what that meant for me. I didn't know what that meant for him. Like, no, we loved Boston, and I thought I was going to maybe live there, you know? So he just looks at me and he goes, invite everybody you fucking know. I was like, okay. So we just, everybody comes up to this place. We have like, I don't know, 200 people at this place. And we just threw back-to-back nights, these 2 parties. We end up shooting the music video, my song Summer Nights, at these back-to-back like Project X style parties. And it was insane. It was incredible because I was like, I'd never experienced a party at this level, and the camera was following me around and doing all these things. So that was kind of like my first taste of like you know, full party vibes of like this American style thing that you see in the movies, you know. What is happening right now? So that was a high that was very hard to come down from after that. So you keep trying to replicate it, you keep trying to chase it, and within that, the song, the music video got released onto YouTube, picked up by Barstool. You know, there was a lot of like, you know, rumors about why the music video was the way it was, so it just like kind of spread. They were playing the song at my college campus. It ended up being a bit of a thing. And again, like just a high that I kept trying to chase after that. So they asked me to play live, and I played live at this bar, one of our friends' bars, and I was shit. It did not go well for me. And I'm like, I'm never doing that again until I'm decent, like until I can do it again. And through that process, I started to like kind of pull away from like friends and even my family, and just like I wasn't really happy with myself because I had seen what was happening, and like this slow change of like this frequency, this vibration, this energy that I was holding for a while. It started to deplete, and I wasn't filling it back up, and I didn't really understand that concept at the time. I had no idea what that even meant. So as that energy started to deplete, I finished up my last year in Boston, and I became very isolated, and I read a lot. I was like really into the classics. I was into like Frankenstein and like stuff like that, and then I wrote a lot, and I was just writing, and I took this class that was like Shakespeare on film, and it was like very much like writing about like your what you're watching and stuff like that, and then poetry and all of these things. So I became kind of obsessed with that, started playing the guitar more, and I was actually living in an apartment by myself at the time because my buddy got traded, so it was just me, and I was kind of right off of where Berkeley is, like the music, so I would hear like all the musicians in the alleyway, just sick musicians, like just killing it, and I'm up there with like my like little 4-chord progressions being like, well, fuck, and just being like, I don't know if I'll ever be that, but like that's what I want to sound like, I want to do that. And so it was very like debilitating but inspiring at the same time. It was like, fuck, like I wish I started earlier, I wish I started younger. But I'm like, okay, well, you know, a lot of people talk about this, like when's the next best time to plant a tree? It's like 50 years ago or right now, you know, like just plant your tree right now. So I was like, okay. So I was like, get to work, just started playing more. I took that year kind of off of partying and drinking, and like kind of, you know, took a backseat to that, got into a relationship, and just felt like, okay, I'm gonna go back home and like get my life going. And I started in real estate. I started a company in real estate that was kind of like an Airbnb for pro athletes. So I was making some good money, and then as this money came in, I started to kind of chase that high again of like, that's where I was. I want to be back at that. I want to have that outside validation again. I want people to know who I am. I want all of these things. So I started to chase that with drugs and alcohol, and it just went into this vicious spiral of depletion. And I was dealing with post-concussion syndrome from like playing hockey my whole life and just being a physical player and having to kind of move through that. Then I found my way into more of like the plant style medicine. So after I was like, just this is not it. Like drinking drugs, just not it. How can I begin my healing process? So learned more about cannabis, learned more about CBD, started a whole company based off that. We found water soluble CBD that was going to be added to any beverage, so you can just kind of take it as an athlete, and that was the whole concept behind it. So that started, I would say, like just helping, my brain kind of rewire and just get back to who I actually was, because I felt like I lost my wit, I lost my charm, I lost, some of the elements that made me me. And then it goes back to that self-love. I just did not love myself. I was like, I don't like this version. I don't like whatever this is right now. It's not for me. So you start pushing away your girlfriend, your family, your friends, because you don't want them to see you like that. You don't want to show up in this like, zombie-like nation. It's like I don't want to be that. So just started to rebuild in different ways. That relationship ended, and started to kind of like just rebuild from the bottom. Like, how am I gonna just be the man that I maybe want to be, or I don't even know what that looks like yet. Let's go explore what that could possibly be. So stumbled into more of like these healing modalities like breathwork, meditation, got into a new relationship, and she had kind of like opened my mind into more of like this frequency, energy, vibration, like all of that kind of stuff. I'm like, I gotta give this a shot. I've tried everything else. Might as well try this. And I got into that, got into breath work, was heavily meditating at the time as well. And during that time, really cut out all the partying. Like there was like the partying completely stopped. I was in this state of like a regeneration, and COVID hit. So my CBD company just hit the skids. There was so much funding that we put behind it that just kind of like blew up, and I was feeling pretty bad about myself at that time as well. So then from there, the self-discovery and like self-exploration kind of increased, because it was like, who are you now? Who are you beyond what you do, So then the plant medicine came in, and like getting more into the mushrooms and like these journeys. And I did one very deep psychedelic journey later on, as, I started to get more into facilitating breath work and into guiding at Other Ship, which is a sauna ice bath house. So I was like doing a sound immersion class in the sauna, singing songs in the sauna, chanting, and that was the first time I started like playing music in front of people again since that whole experience. So it felt very good, and I was like, I want to share this more and more. And then started doing those smaller experiences with my ex-partner, just like 20-30 people, breath work, meditation, bringing out the guitar at the end, feeling great about that. And then it just started growing in that way. And this one massive journey for me, it was psilocybin, MDMA, ketamine, and then DMT at the end. So it was this huge cocktail, and then DMT was like a pen. But this experience was over like a 4 or 5 hour period, and there was body work being done the whole time. So just moving physical energy, like spiritual energy, all of these things. And it activated something within me that was much more aligned with like my purpose. Like, okay, this is the truth of who you are. This is what you're here for. And what I believe I'm here for is to help others, find that self-love within themselves, specifically through my message and my music. And that's like my spoken word, my storytelling, and then the music that follows. So that was a very impactful moment for me, and it was guided. So I don't recommend to, for others that are just like, looking to jump into that just themselves, find, a practitioner, a guide, somebody that you trust in that level. And because with that, it allowed me to go as deep as I needed to go and feel safe in the process. So I think that's a big piece of psychedelic therapy, like just feeling safe, and like these new methods that are being created with MDMA, with ketamine, with psilocybin. You're taking, like, similar to what they did with cannabis, right? You're taking these extracts out, you're learning what the compounds can do in a constructive way, and it's all about, in my opinion, like dosage and making sure, like, your receptors can handle what you're taking in at the time, and then not abusing it, right? It's like, okay, how do I get the answers that I'm looking for and not keep chasing those over and over again with constant psychedelic experiences and going down that rabbit rabbit hole, because that could be very enticing to just like keep like, oh, I want more, like what else is there, you know? And that's beautiful too, but you know, you got to kind of have that own self awareness to kind of find that limit for whatever that limit is for you, for sure.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like the more that you love yourself, the more you're able to pour into your craft.
Totally.
What's your belief around your voice and its limitations, and how has that experience been for you?
Oh man, so my voice is the direct equivalent to my spiritual journey, and the easiest way to describe that, you know, I feel like where I started and kind of where I'm at right now, just to give you an example, I took my first voice lesson when I was like 24 years old or something like that, and this poor girl, her mom was in the kitchen like cooking dinner, and I'm in their living room, and she thinks there's like a screaming cat or something going on, and could not find a note, could not hit a note, didn't know where I was going. And this was after I had even produced music and stuff like that, but like just all of that before was feeling. I didn't really understand like there was like a science behind it and like a practice. So I think that that's the combination of this spiritual growth. It's like learning how to sail, right? It's like you can, you know, just let the waves crash you around, let the weather hit you, or you can, you know, learn how to sail, tighten the hatches, like know where to point the sail, so that you can go in the direction that you want to go. So it's like a combination of going with the flow, and then also like learning that there are mechanics that you can implement to help you get to where you want to get to. So that's been the journey with the voice. In that flow, a little bit of the structure, a little bit of the science behind it, and then just like learning how to listen. And we talked about this, like really listening to music, and like finding those little afflictions in people's voices and things that you like and things that you want to emulate. And I'm a huge Elvis fan, so like just like taking a lot of that energy in. And the Elvis movie was like, it blew my mind. I watched it 10 times. So it's like, you know, little things like that just like help you just guide your directional journey, and like things that you become obsessed with, you're obsessed with them for a reason, right? There's something that is inside of you that needs to come out. And we talked about this as like music as medicine, and just my friend gave me this like beautiful insight. She's like, do you use music as medicine? And I was like, yeah, I guess. Like I keep preaching that, like all my events, like we talk about like, oh, this is music medicine and whatever, but I didn't really understand what she was saying until a moment, actually a couple, like maybe a week ago, where I was just sitting with this like feeling, this anxious feeling in my gut, and it was just like super dark, and I just kind of sat down at the piano, and in the past I would, you know, pick up a drink or do some drugs or whatever to try to get rid of this feeling. But I sat down at the piano and I just started singing, and at first it was just like these tones of just like almost like screaming, just like getting it out. And then eventually it turned into this song, and I ended up writing a song just in that moment. But it was this like full-on release, and I just felt it almost like massaging that like feeling, this anxious feeling, and that's what I feel like my voice has become for me. It's become this like medicine of just like release and processing of emotion that is usually stored, especially for men. That's some stuff I've done in the past. I've coached in men's work, and I've also been coached by some amazing men's coaches, and I feel like that's something that was missing from my life for a long time. Emotional regulation, learning how to like just channel those emotions into a productive way of communicating, not only just with myself, but the world around me. And I'm still working on that, like within relationships, and that's my parents and stuff like that. So the voice has been something that I'm still trying to figure out, but I feel like I'm trending in the right direction.
So what do you hope that people get from Soul Expansion?
I believe that we all have the answers within ourselves. I don't think I'm going to be the one that's like telling you, hey, you got to live this way, and you got to do this, and you got to do that. And you know, like obviously there's beautiful coaches out there and things like that. But I think in my experience, the best coaches just ask the right questions and allow you to find the answers within yourself. So I hope that we give the guests an experience where they're able to open up to themselves and find the answers that are laying within. So the idea is to create a container that is like safe enough so that they can go as deep as they want to go, and just create that deep self-love, and whatever that turns into outside of the space, that's up to them.
So I end all of my interviews with the same two questions.
Okay.
So what are you learning to love about yourself?
What am I learning to love about myself? Well, I'm very particular, and I didn't think I allowed myself to be particular before because I was just a people pleaser. So I kind of accepted things, you know, and even about myself, I just accepted them because like, oh, that's how I have always done it, and I just let it go. But I realized now maybe it's with age too. You just become more particular, and you're like, hey, I actually don't like that. I want this, you know, and just being more clear about that of what that looks like. So. Yeah, I'm learning to like being more particular, and yeah, just discerning what I like and what I don't like.
And what would you title this chapter of your life?
Oh my God, the great unknown, maybe. Yeah.
Do you want to explain that at all?
Yeah, I would say like just going into this like journey, like call it like a mystical forest, if you will, of life, of like, I don't know what's in there, but I'm just gonna go into this magical forest and see what the fuck comes out of here. See which direction of the forest I come out, I don't know, but I'm going in there with my guitar, my open heart, and my voice, and we'll see what happens. If you're watching this, just want you to know that it's time to forgive yourself, it's time to love yourself, and the war on yourself is over. You can stop, and you can start to live the life of your dreams right now.
Thank you, Freddy.
Awesome.